Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Marissa Monroy. This has been a time of changes and adjustments, and this past week was certainly no different for the City of Austin. We began with some bold decisions from Austin City Council. As people across the country and our community continue to speak out against racial injustices, Austin Mayor Steve Adler and Austin's 10 council members decided it was time to also act. In a unanimous vote, Austin's local leaders approved a series of initiatives aimed at addressing the concerns about the Austin Police Department, concerns that have been amplified in past weeks through protests and hours of public testimony. Here's a look at the actions council took in response. Remove funding from next year's budget for the hiring of additional officers and reallocate funds to alternative public safety and health strategies. Prohibit the use of chokeholds, tear gas, and military-grade weapons for those exercising First Amendment rights. Restrict use of deadly force, no-knock warrants, and facial recognition technology. Convert the Judicial Committee to a Public Safety Committee, broadening its role to include reviewing public safety issues and services. And much more. Council took the additional actions of directing the city manager to recommend policies that better address inequities for prospective tenants with a criminal history.
Your involvement has so much more weight and influence, and I hope that everyone can see that in this current process. So I want to encourage everyone to stay involved and stay engaged with us on other issues. Democracy works so much better when it actually reflects the diversity of our community. So thank you for your participation. Thank you for your voice. And thank you for your commitment to our community.
Why is it so important that we do this and we do this today? It's because Black lives matter. It's because no one should be afraid when a police car pulls up behind them. Because living on the east side of Austin should not mean a lower life expectancy than someone who lives on the west side. Because there's no death penalty for traffic offenses, for suspicious behavior, or for matching a description. Because homelessness is not a crime. Because protesting in support of social justice should not put an Austinite in the hospital. Because institutional racism has made COVID-19 a burden carried disproportionately by our Black and Latinx neighbors.
The City of Austin's Government Access Channel, ATXN, provides recordings of all the council meetings. Just go to atxn.tv and click on Archives to see the latest. The Austin City Council recently made another major decision, this one related to Project Connect, the proposed transit system that aims to move people around the city more easily and efficiently. Austin City Council and the Capital Metro Board unanimously approved moving forward on the plan. At a glance, Project Connect recommends 4 rail lines, a downtown transit tunnel, 24 park and rides, better bus service and stop amenities, enhanced accessibility access, and a zero-emissions fleet. The next step in this process is figuring out how to pay for this plan. Local officials estimate this plan will cost about $10 billion total. However, with help from federal funding, that cost would amount to $5.4 billion for Austin residents. Austin City Council will decide later this summer on what this might mean for Austin voters in a November election. In other news affecting Austin's streets, speed is to blame for about a fourth of Austin's road fatalities. So in an effort to make streets safer for everyone, Austin City Council unanimously approved reducing speed limits on a number of streets around town. Neighborhood streets that are 36 feet or less in width, and some neighborhood streets that are wider than 36 feet, will see their posted speed limit reduced to 25 miles per hour. Downtown streets between North Lamar, MLK, I-35, and Lady Bird Lake will be posted at 25 miles per hour. Guadalupe, Lavaca, MLK, 15th Street, Cesar Chavez, and Lamar will be posted at 30 miles per hour. And speed limits along arterial roads bounded by 183, 71, and Mopac will be posted at 35 miles per hour with some exceptions. The new posted speed limits will be phased in over the coming months. For more information, visit austintexas.gov/speed management. COVID-19 has impacted our community experiencing homelessness a great deal, with even more limited access to food, water, and hygiene resources. The city's Eating Apart Together initiative has stepped in to bridge that gap.
This is the EAT initiative. We're packaging bags of food to be delivered to 1,000 people experiencing homelessness throughout our community. When the shelter-in-place orders went out, stores shut down, a lot of services that people experiencing homelessness could access began shutting their doors and pulling back. Every little bit helps. Some is better than none. City manager is coming by today to volunteer. You got applesauce, you got drink. Each bag gets a roll of toilet paper, a city flyer, identifications of symptoms for COVID, what to do, how to use face masks. We have supplied face masks. So we're packaging a week's amount of food to go out to these folks, plus water as well. Everything gets delivered to these tables behind us. Each row is 100 food and then 100 water. But this table has expanded. We only used to have half the table because we needed a place to operate something of this scale. Everything here about this place it serves a food distribution hub just perfectly. We are supplying about 1,000 bags of food and water. We're looking to increase that to get the most food that we can out to people. Every little bit helps.
In the last 2 months, volunteers have distributed more than 100,000 meals to people experiencing homelessness. The program has funding through next month. If you'd like to contribute to this effort, visit austintexas.gov/eat. That's it for this week's City View. Thank you for watching Austin. Be sure to catch up on all of the latest information on atxn.tv, our social media channels, and on our dedicated webpage, austintexas.gov/COVID-19. Stay well, Austin.